More precision measuring tools to make your life easier. I'm Tim Johnson. You're watching Shop Tool Reviews. All right, today is Tuesday, and we typically do a Tool Tip Tuesday, at least on social media. And I thought, you know what, I would combine our Tool Tip Tuesday with an actual tool review per se, and combine it all into one and make a full-blown video of it. Now, last week we brought to you the digital calipers on how to use them, how to make your life a little more effective and a little more precise in your measurements. We're still going to use these, but there are some limitations to this tool, and we covered some of those last week or on the last video, but we're going to cover some more here and then how to overcome those with this tool here or these tools here. Let's dive right in. Last week we released a video on how to use a set of vernier calipers, or in this case digital calipers or even dial calipers. Really the only difference between those is that the vernier calipers would have no readout here, would have no dial, just a set of analog numbers like we see here that you would be able to kind of read out the display on what the ruler says. That would be vernier calipers. A dial caliper would have a dial here that with a sweeping needle, and this is a digital caliper, which is kind of obvious that we have a digital readout to tell us the measurement, and we can change between millimeters and inches. But look back at that video if you haven't seen it yet, but basically we went over this tool. Well, there are some limitations to this. So this does great if we wanted to say get a reading or a measurement across this piston. I could do so and quickly get a good reading and say, okay, it's 3.4 inches. Now, if I wanted to get even that wrist pin bore, I could do that as well. So I could use the internal portions of this tool to do the same thing that we did with the external. So it will reach in there and tell me that, okay, it's 770 thousandths. But my limitations is how far that will reach. So we see it's probably not even an inch reach to actually get into a bore to read it. So it does have its limitations. It's not going to read down in a cylinder bore or something that maybe even has a rim around it that keeps us from getting in there. So there are definitely many places where you cannot get these set of calipers, dial calipers, digital calipers, vernier calipers, into a bore, into a cylinder, or inside an area to measure it. So how do we do that? Well, that's a great question to ask, and that's what we have here. So today's tool tip, if you will, today's tool review, if you will, is a set of bore gauges. Sometimes maybe called dial bore gauges, but that would be if they had a dial actually on them, and then they get quite expensive. This is a cheap set, just like with the digital calipers. You can get much nicer stuff, but if you don't have any at all, start small, get you a $20 set like we see here. They can be bought off of Amazon, and so that you can actually read measurements and get you better at actually not only diagnosing things, but also being able to take some exact measurements and not just guessing or using a tape measure, things like that. So what happens here, you see these tools, so you see there's several of these all the way down to this little guy right here, which looks like probably less than a ½ inch. Yeah, 5/16 to ½ inch. And what happens here, it's a big T, but both these compress. They have a spring. And by the way, you can get these that only one side compresses, but I really like when both sides compress. They just seem to read easier and also give a more honest measurement, if you will. But anyway, these both compress, and then this little nut back here, this little knurled end, actually locks that into place. So you see how long it is here? If we measured an area and then we lock this down, now that's going to be locked into place, and you'll see when I release this, then it pops out. So be careful, don't let it pop out on you, but anyway, it shouldn't go anywhere. It should be locked in, but still. So you get the idea of how it actually retains its dimension, and then we can use our dial calipers to measure across that, or maybe even we want to use a micrometer. Another way to measure would be like a micrometer like you see here, where we can get some very detailed measurements. But it's typically quicker to use a set of digital calipers. But you can use a micrometer as well. Do you know that 4 out of 5 dentists approve of you subscribing to our channel? Yeah, don't believe that. But 4 out of 5 wives do. Well, don't believe that either. In fact, I think 4 out of 5 wives should actually subscribe to our videos. Now, before we actually use this, let's take a look at how these actually work. So I'll take the biggest one here, which should give us our best opportunity. And I'm going to take out the tightening nut here. So I'm going to pull that out. And you see a rod comes out with it. So you see that's separate. Then we have this rod. And then these are still locked into place. So what you have to do is take the body of this off. And then this unscrews, and this is where you want to hold these internals from going anywhere. And by the way, you don't have to take yours apart, but I'm just showing you how this thing works. And if I dump this out, there you see we have a spring and little nipple sticking out. And then I can pull these out and we have another spring. So we have one big long spring. We have these two guys, rod like this, and this goes inside this one, okay? And so what happens here, the little protrusion right here sticks right inside that slot, and then this rod puts pressure against it. We'll just line it up here. So you see these two slots here line up, and then that protrusion rides inside there, like so, because that one will not fit in there. So it's this protrusion right here that rides inside there, and then this rod pushing against it when you tighten up the nut back here, this knurled nut, that's what actually puts pressure on this and keeps this from expanding and locks that into place. So that gives you an idea on how these actually work. Let me put this back together. And now we're locked into place again. So now it's not going anywhere. So again, we can collapse this, tighten this up, and now that locks into place. So that's how this works. Now let's actually use it. Now you may say, well, why do you have so many sizes? And that's just quite frankly to be able to measure a wide array of sizes, because your small ones obviously aren't going to get big, and these big ones aren't going to collapse all the way down to these tiny sizes, because they can only collapse, it looks like, probably half of their size at most. This is off a string trimmer. I think it's like a 26cc string trimmer. And so you see, we're not dealing with a large area. And obviously, if I wanted to measure this, I could measure the bottom lip of this. But quite frankly, the piston doesn't even get anywhere near this bottom lip of the cylinder. So where I need to measure for wear, or to see if we're within spec, if you will, to be able to rebuild this thing, I would need to get down inside that cylinder and measure across it, and maybe even measure across it in a couple of areas. So to do that, let's see here, I'll grab this one here, and it's loose, and so I could collapse this in here like this, and then I can go down in here and just kind of move it around a little bit to make sure I've got it in a good place. You lock it down, then pull it out, and now I can take my reading, and rather than using the tips of these, I'll use this down here that's got a larger area for me to measure against. And I want to get my smallest reading, but that still allows me to pass through. Looks like that's 1 338.5 thousandths of an inch. So that tells me the bore size. I can look up and see what keeps us within spec to make sure that we haven't worn too much. So that would be on that smaller cylinder. Obviously on a larger cylinder like this motorcycle cylinder here, this is going to be way too small for that. So I could go into, see if this one's going to work, and yeah, it looks like that one will work. And again, the same thing. I could use my dial calipers or my digital calipers to measure across the cylinder bore, and tell me 3 inches and 345 thousandths. Well, that's measuring right here. That's nowhere near, again, that's where the piston skirt may reach, but as far as the actual wearing of the rings, that's happening down inside here closer to the head of this cylinder. If I flip this over, same thing. We can see the wear patch here where the rings got up to, but we don't want to measure right across here because we may have places where the actual cylinder has kind of raised up, and we want to get down here in the cylinder and measure where we want to see how much wear we've actually suffered from, if you will. So again, I can collapse this in here and find a decent spot. Make sure we're good. And now it's going to make a liar out of me because we're right at with a 1/2 thousandth. So we're at 3 inches, 346 thousandths. So almost the exact same as the bottom where the skirt was meeting. But regardless, now we've validated that even where the piston is riding, we really have very little wear. That's what 5/10 thousandths of an inch, because we have tens, 100 thousandths, and then 10 thousandths. So that was only it was 345.5, and so now we're at 346. So that's only 5/10 thousandths of an inch, or 1/2 of 1/1000th of an inch wear. So I think we're good there. But that gives you an idea of how we would use a bore gauge to measure something deep down in somewhere. But this could be for anything. It doesn't have to be just cylinders. There are many things that you can use to measure with these bore gauges. So it's definitely worth the 20 bucks for you to grab a set of these, and they come in very handy. And just like the digital calipers, once you start realizing what you can do with these to either verify or validate things, or either to do maintenance on things, or know when to rebuild things, this is a great set of tools to have. And you know what? Once you start using them and see the value, then definitely, step up to a higher dollar pair that may cost you several $100s. And I would probably recommend going to like a dial bore gauge where you actually have a dial on the end of these, and that's definitely what you need when you start getting into machine work and doing machine work on cylinders and things like that. You need a dial indicator where you can actually check around the bore to see how much differentiation you've got around it, see if you've got any ovalness and that sort of thing. Okay, so it's definitely not rocket science, right? We're just basically getting a static measurement of something down in the bore or down in a recessed area. We're locking it down, and now we can take our dial calipers or whatever measuring device we have, micrometer, getting our measurement across it. So this simple set of bore gauges, along with this simple digital caliper or dial caliper or vernier caliper, whichever one you choose, is really going to help you in being more precise, bringing more precision to your game. So make sure you check something out like this. As I mentioned, I'll have a link in the description. You can get these for 20 bucks. So make sure you check them out. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you don't mind, would you hit that like button and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed already? And by all means, if you didn't like our video, if you hated our video, then give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.